first. I also have on the list of speakers David Lee for the SIGs. Is Jeff here? Jeff, I haven't seen. Oh, there he is. Hi, Jeff. Yep, Jeff has got some info. Chris Gainor would like to speak on some of the things that he did down under. Dave Payne has another one of his wonderful shots for us. Um, uh, Kevin, Kevin or Kirsten here?
Kevin's here.
Kevin's here. Thank you. Kevin, just to give a little bit of a heads up for November 12th, if you wouldn't mind, giving us some feedback. Randy, maybe you can tell us a little bit too about the Astro Buy and Sell that is coming up in a couple of weeks. And also a little bit for chapter 4. And I just see Peter Jedicke coming online. And Peter was the first one to tell me today that Alex Schmid and Joe Carr had been given the a minor planet honorary honor, and so I just want to make that's where I heard it from, and so maybe I will absolutely. I would really honestly like to start with Joe and Alex. Alex,
I just got an email from Dave Berlin, and he asked my birth date. That's all what he said. That was that was a few weeks back, and I was thinking when I looked at it, is this for real?
yeah,
I totally ignored it, and then I replied, "My birthday is 1964," and that was it.
oh, okay, there we go. Yeah,
Peter, are you able to read the citations?
Yes, I have them here. They are also posted on the RASC's website as of this afternoon.
Oh,
Give me a moment.
2 RASC Victoria Center members who have long served both our membership and the public to promote astronomy and science have been honored by NRC astronomer Dave Ballum.
yeah.
Discoverer of many minor planets found within our solar system, published today on behalf of the International Astronomical Union by the working group Small Bodies Nomenclature in their bulletin number 5, volume 5, number 25 for 2025, November 3rd. That is today. Alex and Joe join many other RASC Victoria Center members who have also been honored by Dave's discoveries. They will no doubt want to observe, photograph their respective minor planets when the opportunity presents itself. So, Alex Schmidt, discovered in 2003 by Dave Ballum. Oh yes, so this is important. Most asteroids stay unnamed. People who discover them don't nominate names for them. And then every once in a while, people like Peter Jedicke go and make a bunch of nominations on behalf of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. This one, however, is clearly the discoverer gets naming dibs. And so it was actually Dave who decided to honor our friends and colleagues, Alex and Joe. That's great. Alex Schmidt is a Canadian instructor with the Department of Physics and Astronomy of the University of Victoria and a 30-year member of the Victoria chapter of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. He has contributed selflessly to the public understanding of astronomy and was awarded the Newton Ball Award of the RASC in 2021. And then Joseph Carr. Yeah, it always has to be one word. You can't put spaces and things. So it's Joseph Carr, all smushed together. Discovered in 2004. Joseph Carr is a Canadian amateur astronomer and long-term member of the Victoria chapter of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. He has contributed selflessly to the public understanding of astronomy through public outreach. Bravo, both of you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to ask Randy, would you like to just let us know who is in the room tonight?
There's a question from Susan, and then I'll do that.
Okay, Susan.
So around the whole world, are any other societies allowed to stick their names on the same piece of rock, or is this a worldwide recognition?
I think Peter should answer that. It's a
Yeah.
good question.
Happy to do that, Randy. Thank you for your question, Susan. Yeah, the naming privileges are undertaken by the International Astronomical Union's, get ready for it, Working Group for the Small Body Nomenclature, the WGSBN. And they have the authority for the whole world. And at least as far as anybody's ever tested it, for all time. There have been, as far as I know, no cases of asteroid names being withdrawn after they've been accepted.
How do you feel?
It hasn't sit down yet. Oh, you want to call it? Because when I got this email, I was thinking something's fishy here.
Joe, on your shirt, you're going to have to put Dave Balaam will find you, will find it for you, and he will make a picture of it, which will be a little dot with a little arrow saying asteroid. And you can put it on your shirt. Okay, Randy, I'll take you back to the room, and if you'd introduce people that are there.
Okay, yeah. Lauri said that for the people out in the internet, you sometimes don't have faces on the screen to say who's here. So I'm just going to say that we have Dave Robinson, Randy Enkin, Chris Peirce, Kevin Bertles, Alex the Asteroid Conqueror, David Lee, Elaine, I don't know your last name, Dunbar, Kathy
Hi, Elaine.
Jim Cox, Leslie Welsh, and Reg Lee, Atmosphere Conqueror.
Fantastic. And I'm looking at the people that are online tonight, and I'm wondering if there is someone, if there is somebody who is new, or that we have not had online before. Is there anybody that's fairly new to the group?
I haven't been online before, but I have been to the Astro Cafe in person a couple of times.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And Scott Lusick.
Yeah, Scott, you
Yeah,
got your
you
hand,
got
you
it.
had your hand up?
Hi, yeah, I'm new. I just joined yesterday and this is my first Astro Cafe meeting.
Fantastic.
Hey.
Are you in a tent?
I am in a tent, yeah. I live in a tent on Salt Spring Island.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
My voice
I
is a
thought-
little
I-
bit raspy. I have a cold.
I
but
thought
I'm
maybe
really
you
excited.
were, you were doing an Arctic expedition or something, that you're there. Well, welcome. We're really happy to have you here. And anytime you want to hop on a ferry and come on over to see us, that would be great.
Yeah,
Scott,
thanks. I'm really excited to be here.
Scott, are you a relation to Shirley Lusick?
No,
No.
nope, I don't know of a Shirley Lusick.
Well, you must have lovely clear skies when it's clean, when it's not cloudy.
Yeah, Salt Spring Island is the reason that I'm here. I used to live in downtown Victoria, and when I moved out here, from right outside of my front door, I could see the Milky Way and I could see all the constellations, and then a year later I bought a telescope and that was it. I was obsessed with astronomy. And yeah, I'm thrilled to be on the call with so many other people who are also obsessed with astronomy. Because
There we
on
go.
Salt Spring, we mostly just have astrology hippies. And they always say, you love astrology. And I say, no, I love astronomy. They're different.
It's an actual study, there is guesswork.
No
Well,
offense to
welcome-
anybody who loves
welcome, Scott.
astrology.
welcome. We're happy to have you here tonight. So that's great. Okay. I'm
Thank you.
going to start us off with speaker Kathryn Whitney. Kathryn, I will give you the floor. Somebody can, I guess, are you going to share your screen?
Yeah, I'd love
Okay.
to share my screen if I can.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathryn. I'm the music director of the Newcombe Singers, a choir in Victoria. We're about 80 singers strong. I'm really pleased to be here to speak to you all tonight, and also just to hear about all of your the amazing sort of visions and views and stuff that you have in the night sky. I was lucky to be here last year as well when I was doing a similar winter night themed concert with another one of my choirs, Ensemble Lauri, but this time it's with the Newcombe Singers. So we are actually collaborating with you, thanks to Randy Enkin. And thanks very much, Randy, for inviting me and also for setting this up. So our concert is a collaboration between the Newcombe Singers and the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, your chapter, your branch. The concert's called Sunrise, and the concept behind the concert is really about how the night sky at this time of year makes us feel, right? So we can kind of lose ourselves in the night sky. We can, of course, be inspired by it. We can be frightened by it. But ultimately, especially at this time of the year, those long, long, long nights get their longest. And then once they stop being their longest, we have that really important first sunrise after the solstice. And so that's kind of the theme of my concert. There's a couple things I'd like to talk to you about tonight. I hear there's lots of other people to talk, so I won't take very much time, but I just thought I'd maybe mention a little bit about the program and also how your group could potentially fit into the program. There's maybe three possible ways. I think one of them, Randy may have already spoken to you about, possibly bringing some telescopes to help the people who are attending view the night sky if it's clear. That would be fantastic to be able to have people actually be able to see what's up there while we're singing about it as the night moves on after our concert, to have some of you there. So if you're happy to share your telescopes and bring them to the parking lot around there at St. Mary's Church in Oak Bay. It tends to be fairly dark there. That would be really great. But the other thing I'd like to think about is just like a little bit about the shape of the program. So I'm gonna, if I may, can I share my screen? Whoever's in charge of allowing, have you allowed that? Yeah, okay. So I'd just like to share a little bit of the program with you. Hang on, let me just make sure I have this here. It's right. Here it is. Okay, I'm gonna share that screen with you. So the program, I mean like the way that I've laid out the pieces. So I think you can probably see this here. I hope you can see that. If it's not big enough, maybe you make it a little bit bigger. So you see it's in two parts. After the intermission, we're performing this piece called the Sunrise Mass by the Norwegian-American composer Ole Yelo. And it's actually a setting of the Latin Mass, but he's made it more generalized so that the idea of the sunrise, inspiring us to just sort of contemplate a little bit the shape of our lives, comes to the fore at the end of that piece. But the main piece I want to talk to you about is the first half, which is all about the darkest week of the year, the night sky. So the whole idea is there's a couple places here where the audience will be singing with the choir as well. You can see there's two pieces here that are bold, in bold type all through the night. The beautiful Welsh lullaby, Ar Hithnos, will be singing with the audience. And then in the middle of it, we're going to stop and sing Silent Night as well, again, getting the audience. And I hope any of you who are able to be there to sing with us. But the purpose of the shape of it is to kind of take us from the last light of day into the darkest part of night that helps us to think big thoughts. So we start with this beautiful piece, Goodnight Moon, which is a setting of a children's book. I don't know if any of you know that. Goodnight.
love it.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So a setting of that beautiful piece. Then we have a piece called Anung, which is the Ojibwe word for a star. This is by the Cree composer Andrew Balfour, who's from Winnipeg. We have a beautiful glockenspiel playing, creating the sound of the sky, the sort of twinkling of the stars. And this piece tells the creation story of the Ojibwe people, which it's not my story to tell, but on the score it says, in sort of brief terms, that in the Ojibwe tradition, the stars are seen as the place where the ancestors reside, and also the place from which children appear. So children come down from the stars, and then at the end of their lifetime, they return to the stars. So we're singing both about the first star that we see at night, but also the idea of the beginning and end of the life cycle. Then we have a beautiful song sung in Mandarin called "The Moon Represents My Heart." And that's because once the star starts to appear, then we imagine the moon rising. And we think of that as this beautiful eternal symbol. It's there somewhere every night or during the day. It passes us by sometimes. It's very truthful and true. And this beautiful song helps us to express the feeling of love as using the moon to help us understand how we can be truthful in love. So it's someone singing to their beloved, saying that my love is as true and as eternal as the moon. Then we have another soloist who comes and sings the beautiful poem by Eichendorff in a setting by Robert Schumann, Mondnacht, or Moonlit Night. It's a wonderful image in that piece where the singer looks out across a huge open expanse into the night. That's just the moon lights up the mountain ranges, and as they contemplate this really beautiful big space, their soul spreads its wings and starts flying out across this beautiful landscape. Then we have a beautiful piece called Stars by Erich Essenwalds, who's a Lithuanian composer. Absolutely stunning piece. And I'm going to play a little bit of that for you because I hope you might like to be involved in that piece. That's one where the stars kind of start singing down to us. And then at the end of the first half, once we've got gradually more and more abstract across the first half, we sing a beautiful song by the American composer Elaine Hagenberg. This is to poetry by Leonore Speyer. And the song says, measure me sky, sky be my breadth, wind be my height. How big can I be? Can I aspire to be more when I think about the sky and my relationship to it? So that's just the general shape of my program. There's a couple things I'd like to just play for you, just to give you the sounds, some of the sounds that we have. It's really interesting to think about how composers have tried to create in sound a little bit the feelings that we have when we think about the night sky. So the first, I'm just going to play a couple seconds of the piece Anung. This is A Star by Andrew Balfour, the one that tells the Cree creation story. Let me just start this off for you. I'm going to share again. Can I be sharing sound at the same time? I think I'm going to.
You have
to.
You
How to do
have
that?
to say that you're sharing sound.
Okay, I've just checked those little boxes. I hope that'll work. So here, this is, mind your ears because this is going to come directly from my computer now. Might be a little louder. So see if you can hear the glockenspiel. That's the sound of the stars. They're whispering, Anang, a star. They've just seen the first star. Anang. Then it goes on like that. They've just said a star fell through the sky towards me. And again, that's about the creation story. So it's about a child coming towards you. Then at the end of that first half, I said that we sing this really uplifting piece by Elaine Hagenberg, which is about measuring yourself against the sky, or the sky are inspiring you to think in the biggest possible way. This is a little excerpt from that piece. Stunning piece, right? Absolutely fantastic. So we finished our first half with that piece, but the piece I'd especially like you to think about is this wonderful piece called Stars by Erik Essenswalds, because it features a glass orchestra. And I was wondering if you might like to be the glass orchestra. Let's see. In this version, the choir are playing the glasses that make the tones that are supposed to sound like the stars. But perhaps that's something that you could do. Here's an excerpt from that piece. These are tuned wine glasses. And so it goes. So our concerts are in December. There's 2 performances. And as I say, we'd love for you to be involved. I think, as Randy maybe has mentioned, obviously there's the chance to participate by bringing along some telescopes to help our audience take a look at the night sky. We're going to have some screens up on the sides at St. Mary's Church. So if you have any images you'd like to show during our performance, we'd love to have some images of the moon or the stars or the sun, if you have any. Or any planets that you find particularly powerful. We'd love to see them, or to play in the orchestra.
I'm going to share the screen.
Yeah.
I took a picture. So my choir rehearses in the same room, and there are these 2 screens up here. If anybody has a way that we could put up a screen that we could project onto, that would be clever. Our screen that we have up at the center of the universe has to hang from something, so it's a nice screen, but it would need a scaffold or something to hold it up. But if somebody has a screen, then I mean, these are, good, bright screens, but they're rather small. I mean, they're big by house standards. They're small for a big church.
Yeah, they're not very big from where you took this photograph, for example.
So that's what. If people don't submit to me some pictures, then I will start mining them off of Zenfolio and getting permission for them. And this is something that Kathryn and I will be working on. Well, we have a month. As far as the telescopes are concerned, the concert's at 3:30. finishes at 5:30 or so,
Around there, yeah.
and it will be dark enough by then. What's going to be the star of the evening, the best thing of the evening, is Saturn, which will be nice and visible to the south at about 30 degrees elevation. And so it'd be nice to have 3-4 telescopes with some good magnification on Saturn. This is assuming that we have beautiful clear skies, because you've put that in your request for it, right, Kathryn?
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so there's going to be a clear sky because it's in the director's program. And then please tell us what is the time commitment for the people in what the newly named Royal Astronomical Society of Canada Glass Orchestra?
Yeah. Well, so that piece takes place in the first half. So we would be, we'd ask you to come to a rehearsal, at least one rehearsal. The dress rehearsal is on the Friday night, December 12th. So you could come either on the Friday night, December 12th, or ideally on the Tuesday that week before, where we have a chance to run through things and there's a little bit more opportunity to faff around a little bit and make sure everything is set up well. That would be the Tuesday before the weekend of December 13th, whatever Tuesday night that is. Let me just check my timetable here. That is Tuesday, the 9th of December. We meet in St. Mary's Church, the one you're looking at right now in Oak Bay on Elgin Road.
How many members are there in the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada Glass Orchestra?
There can be an infinite number, just like the stars.
What's the fewest?
The fewest, the least, to play all the notes in the score, the least number, the smallest number would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Smallest number. Well, you could use 2 hands, so theoretically it could be 3 people, each with two instruments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just know that there will be an email going around,
right,
asking for volunteers, and I'll work with Kathryn to get all the times and addresses.
Excellent.
And things.
The address and her name and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It will come around to everybody. The request for photos and the request for people to bring their telescopes. Early on, we were thinking that we could do it during the break in the middle of the show. The sun will be down, but then we did an experiment at Cattle Point to see when you can see Saturn after sundown. And it would be, it's when you scale it to what it's going to be in December, it's going to be something like 5 o'clock. And you guys will be back performing by 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah, the first half will run from 3:30 to 4:30, and then the intermission will be 4:30 to 5. And I think that you said that sunset is 4:16 or 4:17 p.m. So
no, it's 4 something. It's like quarter after 4, but it is too bright.
About half an hour or 35 or 40 minutes after sundown. So
yeah, it's too bright during the break to see Saturn. We've proven that with some direct observation, but afterwards will be great. Easy to see it.
Would there be anything else visible, like any
No.
coming out at that time, or no?
Nothing. Saturn is the brightest thing that will be interesting.
Okay.
If we're lucky and it's a clear enough sky, then we can also show off some constellations after the concert, but nothing during the interval.
Okay.
If we can find something to either display, like a TV or a projector, I could bring my narrowband and stack off of a galaxy, and kind of show the image as it kind of filters in. It takes time for the image to build up, so you would see a very faint outline at first, and then you'd see the galaxy resolve as time goes on. I'd have to see what's available at that time here, though.
Wow.
Okay, Vince, that would be super.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a clear we always get beautiful clear skies on December 13 and 14, right?
Of course. That's why we planned the program for those days, because we know it's going to be clear.
Okay,
And you can feel
Kathryn, that is really, really lovely that you thought of us. It's very good outreach for us. And it looks like a lovely concert. And it looks challenging for the singers.
It's tricky for sure. They're doing a great job. Talking of outreach, I'd just like to say also, please, if there's anything you'd like to bring to give to people at intermission, or if you'd like to have a stand or a table with some things to hand out, you know, please do that. The idea is really to promote your organization to the people who are coming and to our singers. So yeah, please do feel like you can just,
That's a
proselytize
really good idea.
with your organization in the night sky as much as you like.
Kathryn, it's Margie. I'm in for the glass orchestra.
Yay! Yay! Give a preference to your note. That one or this one. In the score, the composer actually says that he wants people to bring their own glasses from their house. You can bring any glass. Test it out, see if it can make a sound. Because I've got some here, but I was gonna use them, but they're too thick to actually make a sound. Although they do have pitches. They have pitches, but. And he says specifically that he wants as many different types of glasses as possible because it makes a richer sound if they're all a little bit different. So yeah, if you can source something from your cupboards, that'd be great. Thanks.
So look for an email
Great.
soon.
And how do we submit our photos to you?
To me.
Randy, that would be great.
Randy, you got my Flickr. You can use any of those.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Kathryn, so much. That was really fun. I'm really inspired by the music. It was just beautiful. And
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you.
I'll look up my my wine glass section here in my closet.
Excellent.
Thank you, Kathryn. If you would like to or need to go, you can, or you can stick around as well. No, whatever you'd like to do.
Sure. Thanks very much.
Okay. I have a couple of maybe quick announcements just here in the middle before we go on. David Lee, do you want to just get us going?
I'll start, Lauri. It's about the beginner's sake.
Yes.
I just want to tell everybody it's tomorrow night, and if you don't belong to the emailing list for the beginner's sake, just let me know. I can send you a link. It's at 7:30 tomorrow on Zoom. And my email address is david@victoria.rasc.ca.
What's your topic?
I haven't one. People feel free to ask me almost anything.
Cool.
Okay.
And for those who are maybe new, SIG stands for Special Interest Group. So Beginners Special Interest Group.
But it's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of people that just hang out. So
yeah, you know, it's not just beginners. I mean,
Yeah.
beginners are absolutely most welcome, but there's a lot of people that are willing to share experiences as well. So lots of people are there.
Thanks, David. Jeff.
Oh, wait, David, talk about the card.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
For Sid Sadu, I noticed the obituary just came out for him on the internet, so look out for that. We also have our memorial on our website, the Victoria RASC website. Anyways, I have two cards. I'll be here tonight, gathering whoever wants to leave, leave condolences. Also, I will be at the meeting next week, and Kevin will tell us about that. That's up at UVic. So there's actually two opportunities to sign the card. So I welcome you to do that.
I'm wondering if there is anyone else that is not going to be cannot be at either one of those.
Well, I was just thinking, sitting here, I was thinking anybody else who knew Sid, you can certainly send messages to me, and I will add them to the card.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say, David. That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. And so then going right in, um, uh, uh, well, Kevin, Bertles, Kevin, do you want to just tell us about the November 12th meeting while we're talking about that?
Certainly. So next Wednesday, we have a talk at UVic, and the topic is maximizing image resolution for ground-based telescopes using adaptive optics. This is put on by Dr. Makey von Kooten. It's next Wednesday, November 12th at 7:30, the Bob Wright Center, Lecture Theater A104. This is also on our website right now. It is also listed on Lamppost Victoria as of last night. It's going on Capital Daily any day now, and it should be on the RASC newsletter next Monday. So, and if Joe does another hosting event on Facebook, that would be good too. Good job.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kevin. I'm looking forward to, we've had her speak to us before. And so this is going to be a nice update from a couple of years ago, I guess, that she gave us some update on that.
One of the reasons we approached her was because she and her team had got a large grant. And so she's also going to talk about what that grant program is about and what they're doing with it and what their plans are. So it should be a very interesting talk.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kevin, for getting that all ready for us. That would be great. And everybody is invited. Bring a friend, and we can fill the auditorium. And we're hoping that it will be in A104 this time, right, Kevin? And not having to move to the bigger theater like we did last time.
I will defer to Alex on that, but that's my understanding. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Great.
104.
Yeah.
Laurie,
A104.
Yes.
can I advertise a not astronomical event that's happening on Saturday?
Sure. Go ahead. I know exactly what you're going to talk about. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, so as well as looking up, I actually get paid to look down. I'm a geologist with the Geological Survey of Canada, and I have the honor, the privilege of organizing the Geodiversity Fest at the museum this Saturday, November 8th, from 10 till 3. It was supposed to be October 4th, but the strike, the BC government, EU,
Whatever.
yes, they were on strike. We couldn't hold it. When they finished, we said, okay, let's hold it now. So we're going to have people from Geological Survey of Canada, British Columbia Geological Survey, the UVic Earth and Ocean Science, UVic Geography, the museum, of course, with their dinosaurs. We have the Fossil Club. We have the Rock and Lapidary Club. I think that's everybody. Anyway, we're all doing tables in the lobby. It's free, family friendly. And then there are going to be 4 talks. If it sounds familiar, it's because I model it on International Astronomy Day. When UNESCO said we're making this new International Geodiversity Day, this was about 3 years ago. Last year, I said, I know how to hold that. And I got my boss to say that we can get overtime and such for that. And it worked very well. We had about 500 people come by last year. And there's been less publicity this year, but we're hoping that people will come. So come take a look, learn something about the Earth underneath our feet, which is actually just as interesting as the sky, I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Randy. I actually just signed up to be a volunteer at the museum. So there you go. You'll see me there.
Thank you.
Okay,
Saturday
so
10 till 3.
yeah. Chris Gainor, you were interested in letting us know a little bit about what has been going on with you.
Okay, actually, I have a question for David. Where is the obituary for Sid? Is it in the Times Columnist?
I will send it to you later if you'd like. I don't think it's in Times Column.
No, Dignity Memorial.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
all right.
You just Google his name and you'll find it.
Okay, so yes, for a good chunk of late September and much of October, I was in Australia, and Audrey and I went down there for a variety of things, visiting people, sightseeing. We'd never been there before. But some of the things I was interested in kind of fall into our interest as space enthusiasts and astronomers. So I will share my screen here. And okay. There, have you got the show there?
It works.
Good. Okay, so we start off with the usual tour shot in Sydney. And Sydney was where we started and was one of the reasons why I was there. I was there to, in part, to attend the International Astronautical Congress, which is an event that takes place every year in a different part of the world. I've been to a couple of these, both of them previously in Canada. Vancouver about 20 years ago, and Toronto about 10 years ago. It's been 10 years since I've been to one, so I thought I'd go to another. This is more about space exploration and things like that, rather than astronomy, although of course it does come up in terms of space telescopes and things like this. And a lot of the people who speak there, they're technical talks and things like that. But and you can see here a couple of the aspects of it. They have quite an elaborate opening ceremony, and there's thousands of people there. You can see some Australian First Nations people as part of the ceremony. But it's such a big deal. The Premier of the province or the state of New South Wales was there. The Governor General of Australia was there. It's a big deal. And on the left, you can see they have a lot of exhibits there. And I always go around there to see what swag I could pick up. And I went with a couple of friends. My friend Ken Harmon from Vancouver, who's at the right, and then in the navy jacket is actually a longtime friend of mine, Richard Tonkin, who in 1971, I believe, helped launch Australia's second astronaut or satellite, Australis Oscar 5, which was actually built for ham radio and things like that. This is when he was in college, but Richard wound up being a lawyer. So go figure. But anyway, he is actually a genuine space pioneer from Australia, and it was recognized at the ceremony. Part of what goes on at these meetings is they bring the heads of the space agencies to speak, and at the left there, the woman there is the head of the Canadian Space Agency, and I've just suddenly forgotten her first name, but it's I believe it's Judith Campbell or something like that. Campbell is her last name. She actually made one of the few announcements of anything that there was some funding for some smaller projects. At the right, you can see the talk with the administrator of NASA. And he's actually towards the right of the picture, but I picked this picture because he put up this slide, which was kind of gives you a flavor of what he was talking about, kind of political, and talking about America's strengths. Now, Sean Duffy, the administrator of NASA, is actually also the Secretary of Transportation. That's never happened before. And he's certainly a strong supporter of President Trump. Now, he's supposed to be the interim leader of NASA, but and I was frankly surprised to see him show up at this meeting. The administrator does usually show up, but given his double-barrel task, I didn't expect him to see him. But what happened, or what's happening, is that I think he likes the NASA job so much he's trying to fold it in permanently, and so he's lobbying for it a little bit. And I'm reading a lot of chatter about how he's in competition for the permanent job with Jared Isaacman, who was actually nominated by President Trump earlier in the year, and then the nomination was withdrawn, and with some of the fallout with Elon Musk, it's very complicated. But the politics are going on in the States, and it even came down to Australia. So we are going to see how that goes. Now, in the past, they've usually had all the administrators together, but because the tensions between the U.S. and China, they come on separately and they do a little interview like what you see with Ms. Campbell there. So that, we did see some, the deputy administrator from China and people from India, the European Space Agency, and all this. But everybody was being careful about what they had to say. So this part is sometimes edifying, but not so much this year. The part that I am involved in is we have a gathering of space historians, and there's actually not that many of us. But we give some papers, and but we also have a business meeting where one of these pictures is taken. I gave a presentation on the Hubble Space Telescope and some of the Canadian things to do with it. I've given bits and bytes of it to people up here. But I want to talk about a topic that has come up a bit more in this meeting, and also as part of my visit to Australia. So this photo shows something I saw in the planetarium in Brisbane, and it kind of explains one of the important things about Australia to astronomers and to people interested in space exploration. Because of where it is, it's always had, from the start of the space age, important antennas that, for example, bring in a lot of data from spacecraft like Voyager and Cassini and other things that have gone to the outer reaches of the solar system. But it's in the southern hemisphere as well, so it's of interest to astronomers. So some of this stuff was kind of a major theme of some of the things I was doing while I was down there. You've probably heard about the dishes the big dishes that they have down there, which are not only used for astronomy, but also to listen in on the spacecraft, as I just mentioned. So one of the highlights of my trip for me was going to the Deep Space Communications Complex in Tinninbilla. And this is one of 3 places on Earth where you have the big dishes listening to Voyager and spacecraft in deep space, as I mentioned. The other two are Goldstone in California and a facility near Madrid in Spain, and it's been that way for a long time. If you're interested in these sorts of things, it's actually easier to go to Australia and visit them. Like if you want to go to Goldstone, which is the nearest one, you have to deal with American security regulations, which make it very difficult to visit. Then they've been introduced after the Oklahoma City bombing, 30 years ago, but of course 9/11. Now, you may have heard about some of the Australian dishes in this movie that came out 25 years ago, The Dish, which is an account of what went on in Australia during Apollo 11 in the first walk on the moon. This is a very entertaining movie. It does depart from the facts in many in many ways, and when I was visiting Tidbinbilla, I got a sheet with FAQs in it, and the first one is, "Do you play cricket on the dish?" Which refers to a scene in the movie, which has never happened in real life. Anyway, I view that movie with mixed feelings. The biggest dish at this station, and in Australia for that matter, is the DSS 43 dish at the left. It's 70 meters across, and it came into operation in 1972 and was used to pick up the Apollo 17 moonwalks. And then, of course, it's used for all sorts of things. So a lot of the images and data that we enjoy from these spacecraft come through this. Then the photo at the right is of DSS 46, and this is a very special antenna to me. Now, back in 1969, this antenna was actually in a different place, a few miles away, in a place called Honeysuckle Creek. But this was the antenna that picked up Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon. So anybody who remembers watching this, the signal came through that antenna. But the story is rather complex, and of course it comes up in the movie. When the Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin began their moonwalk, the very first signals were picked up from the Goldstone station in California, but it was about to set in relation to the moon, so they were looking to Australia. So as you can see on this information on the slide, at first the picture was upside down and reversed, and the quality varied. The quality of the Goldstone wasn't very good. Now, there's another telescope at Parkes, which you can actually see in the middle of that map of Australia. It's a 64 meter dish, and it was the biggest one in Australia at the time, but it's a couple hundred miles east of Honeysuckle Creek or Tidbinbilla, as the case may be. And it was just coming over the horizon. The moon was just coming up over the horizon the other way. So most of the Apollo 11 moonwalk was actually picked up by Parkes, but the first few minutes when Neil stepped on the moon were picked up by that antenna that was at Honeysuckle Creek and is now at Tiddenbilla. And actually, that one is retired. Parkes, which I wasn't able to see on this trip, but it's still going strong, but it works pretty well exclusively on astronomy now. Because the 70-meter one at Tiddenbilla can handle the spacecraft stuff. So anyway, this was like a kind of a historic place for me, and there's actually a number of my fellow historians who are working on that. My friend Colin McKellar, who I'm visiting here, has actually posted up a whole website about the goings on at especially at Honeysuckle. It was I was later on the trip, I was able to visit him and talk to him and make contact about some of this stuff. And I hope to be writing about some of it myself a little later on. I also visited the Sir Thomas Brisbane Planetarium in Brisbane. Now, why would the planetarium be named after him, the same name as the town? Well, Brisbane was the governor of the area. He was also in the army. He was also an astronomer. But anyway, the exhibits in the library, and you can see, or in the planetarium, you can see a picture here, of course, talk about what we have in southern skies. And this was something else I wanted to look at. You know, I had to make some decisions about what I was going to be able to do and not do in Australia. Because they're going to be traveling around a bit, I didn't want to carry telescopes along with me, and for a variety of reasons, I couldn't. I chose not to arrange to say go to a resort where you can go and enjoy the southern skies, but I did want to do some things. And while I was visiting in Melbourne a few days after Sydney, of course the moon was full, so I couldn't do some other observing that I wanted to do. But I got a picture of the moon, and you might notice it looks a little different from what that full moon would have looked like from Victoria. It's on a bit of a tilt relative to us. I was also observing, you know, up here we can see the International Space Station. But there's also another space station up there now, which the Chinese have launched, the Tiangong space station. And I managed to get a view of that. It's just above the tree in the photo at the right. And now it's in an orbit that doesn't bring it over Victoria, so you have to go south. You know, you could go to, you know, California or something like that to see it. But I saw it in Australia. Now this this photo was actually taken at a site and I'm going to show you some more photos I took there, and you can see. This one is located near Canberra, and you can see on the left side of the shot, there's the lights of Canberra below. So it wasn't ideal conditions, but they were good enough for some other things that I wanted to do. The site in question was Mount Stromlo, the observatory up there attached to the Australian National University. And in 2003, there was a bushfire that basically ruined much of the observatory. And we just went up there kind of just to do our own observing. So there wasn't any staff there. It certainly wasn't like a star party at the DAO, but I noticed a number of people did come up there to amateur people to do some observing. The place we chose to go, we actually didn't encounter any of those people, but we encountered some kangaroos. And a funny thing is that a number of times I went out to enjoy the night skies a little bit, and I think all but one time I also encountered kangaroos, but they would usually just kind of hop away when we approached. Their behavior reminded us a little bit of the deer. So anyway, you can see me in front of one of the domes, and the cafe and visitor center isn't open yet, right? Even in the middle of the days, and I'm not sure if it's because they haven't got it going yet or what. But anyway, aside from the fact that it had a closed sign there, I would have been none the wiser about the events of 20 years ago. But I did want to enjoy some of the night skies there, and I know Joe will relate to this. When we were both much younger, we both traveled to Fiji at separate occasions, but that was the only time up to now that I enjoyed the night skies in the southern hemisphere, and I was looking forward to another dose of it. So this was, I got an iPhone this summer, and you probably saw me playing with it at the Star Party, and it was in preparation for this. So this is the view of basically the center of our galaxy as seen from Mount Stromlo. And I was worried that the first couple of weeks I was there, the moon was quite present, and when I was in Sydney, I was in the middle of town and all this stuff. But we got to Canberra and visiting friends on the edge of town, and I could see something similar to this, not quite as good. The next night we went up to Mount Stromlo. So this was a real treat, and this is another view, roughly the same area, moved over a little bit, and a little bit more substantial than the Milky Way we see here. Now, I was also looking for the Magellanic Clouds. And when I first looked for them from Canberra, I couldn't really see them. And I actually couldn't really see them from here, in part because I think that light I showed in the earlier photo of the lights of the city from that side of the observatory. But I did take some photos in that area, and you can see they kind of show up here. So I did get a bit of a look at them, not quite what I had expected or hoped for, because I remember seeing them in Fiji, but I'll tell you, the skies there are so dark, it's unbelievable. And then just we went down the little hillock after we'd done our observing, and I'd gotten a bunch of photos, and I got the photo at the right there, and I'd actually taken my camera off the tripod, but I got that kind of a handheld thing, so that was that was kind of a neat photo. So that was the astronomical part of the trip. There's lots of other things we did, saw animals and sights. I think you recognize the animal. This is at the left is the 12 Apostles, which is on the south coast of Australia. And you can see Audrey there looking at the Blue Mountains. So I will leave it there.
Thank you, Chris. That was wonderful. Oh my goodness. It's so nice
Thank
to
you.
see some of the other observatories and what you did. I am so appreciative of you being able to do what you do and then bring it all back to us. And it's so good. Does anybody have any questions for Chris?
I have a question for you.
David Lee.
Chris?
Yes.
I have a question for you. What did you use as a camera up on Mount Stromlo? What did you take those pictures of?
My iPhone 16.
Oh, thank you.
Which has kind of a mode you can use for these types of shots, you know, and there are, you know, I'm not known as one of the great astrophotographers or anything, but ever since I'd been in Fiji all those years ago, I wanted to capture that a little bit, even on my own, and so you know, I did a little homework, and I saw that this was a good camera for that, and I tested it out at the star party we had this summer, you know, and some of the, you know, I've got uh, the star party was very good because we could see the Milky Way that time, and I could test this mode on here. What it does is that it usually, sort of depending on how dark it is, it will take an exposure for several seconds, and so you know, I practiced this at the star party so I wouldn't be headbanging too much when I got down to Australia, and I thought it worked out reasonably well. No doubt some of the more skilled people could have gotten a lot better shot than I did, but anyway, I was
Chris.
happy with that.
Were you tempted to take the Unistellar with you?
It was too big and heavy, you know, you know, it would have been nice to do that, but I think I would have had to be more sure where I was, you know, like our trip was basically along the east coast of Australia. And you know, I suppose we could have chosen to go into the outback or somewhere where I knew it was going to be really dark and I could have all that. Then I might have thought about it. But the Unistellar, you know, for all its virtues, is still pretty big and heavy to pack around. So I just thought for the type of trip I was doing, that this was the best solution. And it happily it worked out. You know, we were visiting friends a lot of the time, and you know, so I wasn't sure what conditions I was going to be faced with. But we did get those nice nights in Canberra. I tried in a couple of other places, but you know, things just didn't work out because of the weather or the lighting conditions where I was. But we got that at Mount Stromlo. So of course we both had such a great time that we want to go back. And certainly if we do go back, you know, I might be thinking about you know, dedicating more time and effort to, you know, nighttime observing.
Great, thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris, very much. That was great. Okay, we'll kind of intercede here with with a couple of announcements. Jeff, I had you down, and then we kind of got waylaid a bit. Jeff Pivnick has got a couple of things he wants to say.
Thanks very much, Lauri. So a few months after Randy's Geodiversity Conference at the Royal BC Museum, we'll be back there with Astronomy Day. I recently got my Observer's Handbook 2026, and I suspect other people have also. The 2025 Observer Handbook, if you have them, would be very useful to have for Astronomy Day. They have a bunch of articles that beginners or people interested in astronomy do find useful. So if you do have a 2025 handbook and you're going to discard it, I'd like it. I generally collect them as I did last year. I'll post my email address if you want to. If you can hold on to it, great, until for 6 months until Astronomy Day, or alternatively, if you want me to pick it up, just write me and I'll collect them. But that'd be very useful. The second thing I just wanted to mention is I'm hosting next week, and I'll be talking about smart telescopes. I'll just run through, some of the major types. But if anybody has any photographs from smart telescopes, it would be useful if you would bring those also to the Astro Cafe next week. So thank you. Thanks, Lauri.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, that sounds really interesting. Yes, Astronomy Day is I believe is already being booked for next year at the museum. I don't know the date. I'm sorry, I don't have it sitting in front of me, but I believe it's the end of April next year. So hopefully everybody will be around and be able to help us with that as well. All right. I've got Randy, do you want to talk about the Astro Buy and Sell?
That's a very good segue from Jeff talking about next week. So Jeff is the host next week. On the
10th.
That's the 10th. And so oh lordy, I just lost. There we go. I still need a host for the 17th. So let me just tell everybody, it's not very difficult. Lauri, is it difficult?
No.
There you go.
You just say hi. Anybody have anything to say? And everybody brings things in.
I would love to have a volunteer for the 17th. And while we're at it, we have a really special guest on December 1st. We don't have a host yet, but we have a guest. Phil McCausland is a meteorite researcher at the University of Western Ontario. And he's also a paleomagnetist like me. And so we have professional things to do together. But he's agreed to talk on December 1st. And then 8:15, 22nd. Margie, you've agreed to be the host, or did you just say you'd like to have the Astro Cafe that day?
I don't believe I said either.
Oh, you did. You did say that you would like. When I said, should we have an Astro Cafe on December 22nd, you did email say that's a good idea, but I wasn't sure whether you meant and I will host. Anyway, we can talk about that later.
You are correct. I did say that would be a good idea.
Anyway, for now, let us talk about November 24, which will be in the room here. It will not be on the Zoom. And it's been an annual tradition for many years where people bring equipment, books, telescopes, and it's a good way to get rid of some of your old things so that you make space for the new things. For me, I acquire a lot more than I get rid of. It's very scary. Eva's always worried what I'm going to bring home that day. And it's also nice if people bring festive, astronomically themed treats. And it's a good time. We don't get together nearly enough.
Yeah.
And so that's a plan. There is also a plan because Dan Posey isn't here, to have a council meeting in person, and that might happen. What was it? Something like the 18th.
Yes, from the 18th.
Is it going to be in November or is it going to be in December?
That I don't know.
Yeah, Kathy.
Do you need to, for that one, when we're having everything here,
Yeah,
do we need a host?
I will be host that night.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a very, very different thing. It's mostly just getting people going around saying, "Look what I brought," and oh, and very important, David Lee, do you want to talk? We've got some fancier equipment which we would like to sell on behalf of the club. And what can you talk to that?
Yeah, I can. So we found ourselves a little bit in a pickle in terms of storage. We've had a number of bequests over the years, and storage is at a premium. So we've decided to make a change in terms of what we keep. So there's a couple of, or quite a series of items coming up which are of note. I'm just preparing them right now to make sure that we can describe them in an accurate way. Some of the material or some of the things are not complete, but I will have to say that they would be good buys anyways. Like for instance, there's a set of legs that are available, which are very good legs and not easily come by. So it's just a matter of us describing them, and then hopefully maybe Joe, I'll get you to put it up on the site. Maybe we might even take pre-bids on them. Not exactly sure yet, but this is going to happen a little bit over time, over the next year. There's quite a bit of things that we need to find new homes for.
And let's make the general announcement that we are wondering if anybody has extra storage space in their house. It can't be too humid. It can't be like a garden shed, but does it have to be heated or?
For the electronics, I would say probably, yeah.
Anyway, if there is somebody in our club who has a volume where we could place equipment, it would be really, really appreciated.
And actually, the explanation for that is Sid was our director of telescopes, so this was all housed at his home. So we're going to try to. We have to remedy that. I mean,
Harold doesn't want to take over Sid's collection.
I guess you do.
Depending on how much it is, I might have some space, but I would have to look at what footprint that takes up.
It actually isn't a lot. In fact, Lauri was much smarter than me, immediately asking me about footprint, exactly that thing. So in the process of actually defining the inventory, I probably will have that as well, Vince. So
yeah, if it's like dozens of cubic feet, then I've got room for that in my observatory shed, which does have a dryer in it, and I will be putting heater on it for the coldest nights.
Yeah, well, that sounds almost ideal. I mean, I don't know. I will welcome all avenues. A lot of the equipment will also be donated probably to schools as well. So we won't have that, but it's just a matter of. I guess it's the lending library that I'm a little bit concerned about, because Sid actually hosted the lending library. Now, fortunately, a lot of the stuff is out right now, so there's never. I guess it's kind of like a bank. Not everybody's coming in to cash in the gold, right? So we're kind of okay, right, for the time being.
I'd have some interest in taking that over from Sid.
Well,
Vince, that sounds really good.
Well, thank you so much.
We'll have to discuss what that looks like.
Yeah.
I'm pretty outreachy as it is. I'm usually on a sidewalk somewhere with my laptop showing everybody the view through my camera. So
I can see director of telescopes emblazoned.
Watch out, Vince.
Oh, David,
No, no.
David. Not yet.
I'll run.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for that. So I'm thinking we've got a couple more things that people would like to have here. Randy, I think we're going to possibly put off
Put
your
off
chapter
writing.
4.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well,
Chapter
we'll
4
do
will wait
another
very
time. Yeah,
happily.
yeah, that would be okay. So, Dave Payne, you had another one of your glorious pictures.
Sure. Pictures plus a little bit of an explanation. One of the things I've been doing in my spare time here is compiling the properties of the various gases we see in our deep space astrophotography. And it really goes a long way to understanding. Can everyone see that? Am I sharing yet?
Yes,
Yes,
and it's interesting.
my eyes are already going cross-eyed.
It's hard to present a table. Like there's nothing more boring than a table. But I'll just pick out a few highlights here. The color coding is the 3 principal gas types that are out there, and they're defined by essentially pure hydrogen in one of its principal forms, either as ionic form that chemists call H plus and astrophysicists call H2. Its atomic form and its molecular form. And what's driving most of the movement on when you take a picture of a molecular cloud, what's forming most of the transition from one form to the other is a change in temperature. So you can see this hot ionized medium, which is probably around the more big stars, down to this, which is around a normal star, and it's cooled off by up here by X-ray emissions and all sorts of high frequency emissions, and then it gets cooled off primarily by dust. So the problem with these 3 gases is they're all perfectly clear, so you can't see any of them. They're transparent, except for the dust concentration that gets to reasonable levels in molecular clouds and spiral arm, and the H2, which actually forms the spiral arms in a galaxy. So I'll go over here, and unless you're looking at a galactic level, gravity actually plays a very minor role locally when we focus in on an object. It really plays a major role on a galactic level by buoyancy. This being more dense, this H2 gets drawn into the center of the galaxy via the spiral arms. So you can think of this moving into the center of the galaxy, the spiral arms. And these other gases are being thrown out in the gaps between the spiral arms. And another thing another thing to point out here is this ionized gas makes up a large fraction of the total volume of a galaxy, 85% or so. But that's mainly in the halo around the galaxy. When you look in the disk, it makes up about 30% of the volume of the disk where we usually train our photos. The other 55% is made up of this neutral hydrogen atoms. But in the spiral arms, they only make up like less than 5% of the volume of the disk. So they're in fine streaks. But if we look at the mass, well, 97% of the mass, or 98% of the mass, is actually in the spiral arms. And this is what drives the gravity of the galaxy and drives this buoyancy effect that's going on. So most of the mass of the galaxy is actually in the spiral arms, and most of the volume is in the gaps, which you would normally think of. So the pressures throughout these gases are all very, very, very rarefied compared to our own atmosphere. But that doesn't negate the thermodynamic way they behave. And you can test, there are tests that you can show that. But although these are extremely low pressures, you see the dynamic viscosity. Now, the viscosity is how well these gases can flow, are actually not that much lower than air. They're about 1/50th the viscosity of air. And you know what you feel with the wind, and you know what you feel with the hurricane going through. It's 1/50th of that force if the velocities were the same. But of course, the velocities are quite more than 50 times higher in space than they are in a hurricane. So you can see the violence that's occurring with the countercurrent, the different directional flow of this hydrogen H2. So this sets up the entire dynamics, but the viscosity also stops these gases from mixing completely. If it wasn't for their viscosity, they would just mix up and you get a dispersed mess. But this temperature gradient and this viscosity is what keeps them separate. So that's enough of the table, but when you're looking at images, you try to see, well, what is it that I'm looking at, and what are the forms that are taken according to those things. And I just got just a quick warm-up picture, because this has all you're seeing in these images, all you're seeing in this image, this image, is direct starlight. And just for sake of argument, stars take up only 3% of the mass of the galaxy, even though you can see them everywhere. So they're shining. But the other thing you can see in this image is the dust that's being carried in the molecular cloud level. And you can use all the dust that you see is either through its opacity, and you can see a particular opaque here. This is called Barnard's E, and it's in this gas cloud is in Aquila or Aquila. But you can see how dust blocks light. So it blocks visible light. At the same time, it lets IR light, infrared light, pass through it. So it's cooling, it's supplying the cooling of that gas that makes it contract so much. Now, the cloud is a bit hard to see. The other light you're seeing is reflections of the starlight itself. If I turn down the stars, turn down the volume level on the stars, you can see the cloud, and what this cloud is as this atomic hydrogen is moving past an arm, it's ripping off a cloud that is by turbulence is torn off of the cloud and is floating in a sea of clear atomic hydrogen. And you can see it's trying to mix it up, but the viscosity is allowing it to stay the same. And viscosity forms these tendrils between bits of the cloud. But I'll save the culmination for last here. So if I can pull this up, I got it here. And this is showing 3 objects, actually. This is in Gemini. You see these 2 stars down here? These are the foot of Castor. So this is right at the bottom of Gemini here. And what the stars, these 2 things on the left-hand side are stellar nurseries, and where stars are being born, and this on the lower right is a supernova remnant. I showed it in a different image, but so these stars, when they're born out of the depth of the cold. So they're born out of these cold areas, and they start emitting UV light. And UV light more or less passes through the atomic, forms ions around it. But the UV light tends to go through the ions, through the atomic hydrogen, and hit the face of the molecular cloud. So the dust on the edge of the cloud stops the UV light from penetrating the cloud, and it actually heats up the edge of the cloud, breaks the molecules into atoms, and strips the atoms of its electrons forming it back into ions, and that comes jetting off the face of the cloud. And then it joins, most of the hydrogen recaptures its electrons, and when it's recapturing that electrons, it gives off this orange and red hue everywhere. And so that's the other form of light that we can see. So we're either seeing the dust reflected, or its opacity, or we're seeing the narrowband emissions when certain ions are excited by the cloud, by the UV radiation from new stars. And then the third body down here, this is glowing in narrowband too, but this is more of a temperature effect. So that really high 1 million Kelvin to 10 million Kelvin gas is in this cloud here, and that's why it's also, that temperature also turns it into ions, and that's what we're seeing from this. But this is supersonic, and that's why we get this tendrily feeling, where this is simply viscosity, and that's why we get this more smooth interface. So is that a good story?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, thanks. It's gorgeous, gorgeous images. Wow.
Beautiful.
Any questions before I zip it down again?
Yeah, I've got a question. Susan here. What is the source of light that's making the top, so the globula in the bottom right, the top part of that is lit up. What's lighting that?
What's lighting this?
Higher. No, down, to the right.
So the supernova.
The supernova.
Some parts of it are dark and some parts of it are very bright.
Okay, so what you're looking at is in between these are actual supersonic waves that have interfered with one another as this explosion of gas has occurred from either a black hole or a neutron star within it. And the interference of these supersonic waves is what gives this spaghetti-like look to it. But as it goes out supersonic, just like a supersonic plane heats up, and they have to design the plane that way to take the high temperatures, the gas also heats up, and it heats up, like seriously heats up.
Right.
Like 1 million to 10 million degrees. And the atoms can't hold on to their electrons in here. So when you're looking in through these dark, you're actually seeing past the atoms, and you're looking at a very, very hot but low density ion gas.
I mean, to me, I would say that it almost looks like somebody is shining a flashlight on it.
Yes, it does look like that, especially for this star over here. And there will be some reflection off of it, I think. But no, that's all, this is all emitted light.
Isn't that amazing? Thanks.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you, David. Okay. So the event, Vince, you had said you had something. Is it something that is like within, like 4 or 5 minutes or so, or would it be a little bit longer and we could put you on specifically another time, like next week?
This is just a short victory story.
Oh, sure, go ahead then.
So I worked for a rather eclectic person back in the 90s. His name was Walter Shawley II. He was pretty much the eminent expert in aviation and avionics in Western Canada, and had a very close relationship with many three-letter agencies in the United States. In fact, we often get projects where he would say, work on this. I can't tell you what it's for, and you can't repeat it to anybody, but go and work on this. And one day he came to me and says, "Hey, Vince, you're into astronomy and telescopes and stuff." And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Here, I got something for you, but you can't say you got it from me, and you have to make the thing that it came in and go away, and you can do anything you want with the mirror." So this came out of this is an 8-inch mirror. It came out of something that was almost certainly a telescope, probably for a three-letter agency, because the metal it was made of was a lithium aluminum alloy. This is what I'm basing this on. And they only use that on spacecraft. It's too expensive to use anywhere else. I thought I had lost this thing like years ago. I thought it was like gone forever, left behind in a move somewhere. And sure enough, the other day I was cleaning up my basement, going into a way back corner I haven't been in 2 decades, and lo and behold, there it is. So I've measured it to be about an f 3.5, so it's a really fast mirror that I'm going to build into a Newtonian, I'm really excited about it. I haven't built a telescope in at least 30 years. So if any of you guys want to get in and help me, I'll trade like circuit board designing and all kinds of electronic skills for any help. But I just thought I was like, just like my heart just went, yes, I found it again.
Vince, if you can do some like images or something as you're going along, then you can put it all together as a story at the end. So
I really want, if anybody has any equipment for doing FOCO tests or Roche tests, I would love to know, because I'm quite sure, kind of guessing the pedigree of this thing, the optics are probably superb if they haven't been warped over time. But when it came out, this probably would have been 10th wave at least. So I'm kind of curious to see what the figure is.
thank you. Is there anybody that would like to help Vince with any of that? I don't know if there's who we have or what we have in our arsenal. So,
But
okay,
Vince,
well, that's
you
put out as a.
You might want to spread the news about this more generally around the RASC, because across the country,
Oh, yes.
there's some absolutely amazing telescope technicians.
Excellent. Yeah, I'd love to find who they are, because the other thing I want to go into is actually making mirror blanks. I found an interesting book on how to sinter mirror blanks and how to slump mirrors into a figure and stuff like that. So I'm dying to try this stuff out and actually make some mirrors. Big mirrors. I 16-inch or 20-inch mirrors is what I'm shooting after.
Is it corroding at all, or is the surface?
It is a tiny bit worse for wear, but actually quite surprising for where it's been sitting for at least 10 years. It's still really good. I mean, it's got no major scratches on it. It's got a little bit of light, very slightly detectable pits along the very edge, but the center is perfect.
Great. All right. Is there anyone else? Thank you very much, Vince. Is there anybody else that has got anything they would like to bring up at this time? Okay, I'm just so the last thing that I will say is I said that I was putting in the order for things like the almanacs and the workbooks or anything, and that's going in probably tomorrow or Wednesday. So if anybody last chance wants to have any one of the Explore the Universe workbooks or anything like that, just let me know, and I'll get those in. I haven't heard yet about the calendars, but I'm hoping that they will come soon. Okay. I'll just last chance if there's anybody else that would like to put something forward.
I'm going to put one little thing forward.
Okay, Randy, last one.
Season to work on the new council, which we have to elect in February. And in particular, we are looking for the positions of treasurer and secretary. And anybody who likes this organization and knows that these are, I mean, the treasurer is in charge of a $5,000 budget. It's not a big job. And the secretary, we do monthly meetings, maybe 8 months of the year. We need you. So and as past president, I'm in charge of trying to find the people. So please consider these roles. Thank you.
All right. So I think maybe we'll sign off for tonight. If anybody would like to host next week, please get in touch with Randy.
Jeff next week.
Sorry?
Jeff Pivnick next week.
Oh, right, Jeff. Sorry, I'm talking about the 7th. Right. It was the 17th. If anybody would like to do the 17th, just let us know. Okay. Well, so just raise it a little glass to the Toronto Blue Jays that tried really hard and got to almost to the 2 outs, but didn't quite get it over the line. And they'll always be next year, which is that kind of thing. So okay. All right. Well, sign off for tonight. Thanks everybody for coming, and congratulations again, Joe and Alex. Just wonderful news. Okay.
Thank you,
Bye-bye
Lauri.
for now.